Hi, I'm Magic Mike Likey, and welcome to the magic of television. I'm Magic Mike Likey, and welcome to the magic of television. Here you'll learn some of the secrets of the trade, a little bit about my old TV show, which ran for 9 years, or 9 seasons, if you will, and you'll even learn a little bit on how to achieve effects like this, and like this, and even like this. Hi, I'm television's Magic Mike Likey, and in the 1980s and 90s, I produced and starred in the world's longest regularly produced TV show about magic, Magic Mike's Castle, in Winnipeg, Canada. I toured and enjoyed regularly performing for audiences of all ages. Today, I still perform and teach magic, produce magic CDs, animated DVDs, comic books, and I'm also known for my online magic shop and webcasts and podcasts, also called Magic Mike Likey's Castle Mysteries. I was also a college-trained graphic designer, cartoonist, and caricature artist, working regularly at Ontario Place doing caricatures and drawing my own syndicated strip that was seen in the late 70s across Canada, as well as my own editorial cartoons seen across Canada as well. Today, I do my own animated version of my Magic Mike's Castle, as well as other projects. Everybody to my brand new podcast slash joining me. I'm Reverend Dr. Michael Likey. We have our very special guest this week. Now in its 11th season, listen and watch Fridays to my podcast and webcast on Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Mixcloud, Spreaker Radio, Blog Talk Radio, Anchor FM, and YouTube. Expand your consciousness and awareness with Dr. Michael's more than 40 paperback books of a self-help, mystical, new thought, and metaphysical nature of la, 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 la. You can do anything you want. Join me now at the castle. And remember, like the mushroom said, I'm a fun guy. So let's get started, shall we? Now, with the advent of technical stuff being phones that can actually record high quality video and home studios and things like that, a lot of people are jumping on the bandwagon of making their own YouTube videos, Facebook videos, even very quick Instagram and TikTok videos as well. This is a blessing for magicians because we can do really quick, neat things, but more than that, it lends itself to being able to make our own series. And by making our own series, I mean either ongoing regular clips in a cohesive manner that works as a series. For example, Magic Mike's Castle Season 1 may consist of 3 to 6, 10 or 20-minute videos, or a whole schlemazel, say a whole 40-minute special. The length of it is determined by how long you want to go, but more importantly, you really need to create a rundown sheet. More on that later. Generally speaking, the rundown sheet breaks into time segments, the length of your show, allowing for commercials and other things like that. Now, one thing I think is one of the most important things, may seem small to you, but it's really important, is the holding of your camera. Never hold your camera up and down, i.e. vertical. It looks amateurish. It looks like your typical Instagram video, TikTok, etc. If you want to do something a little bit more professional looking, hold your camera in horizontal position. That's the way I've got mine right now. That way, you've got a broader screen. It adapts more to movie format or television format, which is what a television screen is. It's more horizontal, not vertical. With the advent of incredible programs, you can record, edit video and audio, and do more like the special effects we spoke about earlier, including green screen. What a myriad of amazing things one can do with Microsoft Movie Maker, which is actually a free program, Audacity, which is a free audio program. As well, you can record and edit your audio as well. Remember too, your home studio isn't limited to just what you see there, i.e. a couch or two couches, lighting and that sort of thing. Although it is acceptable if you're doing sort of an interview type show. But if you're doing more a fantasy show or a show with a theme, you can use green screen like what we're using here, or those roll-up backdrops, which we'll talk about a little more later. They're from Vistaprint. And usually I have that castle backdrop divided into 3 sections behind me. But for the sake of illustration, I decided to go with green screen today. So once you've decided the theme, the location of your show, you're ready to go. Now, unlike what I mentioned, or what I will be mentioning in the pre-taped segment, it's better that you set up your backdrop first, then sit down with all your lighting and your camera and tripod set up and take a few test shots. In essence, that's what I'm doing now. If these shots work out, they'll become part of the program. Let's begin now with all that neat technical stuff. Enjoy. All was about hunting and gathering, and when things weren't all concrete and black and white, TV was in its infancy. During that time, things were done in a very strange way, and ideas were conceived by hand as opposed to computers. In fact, this is what a typical TV studio looked like. As well, the men behind the scene at their consoles. Of course, TV production was in its infancy, and nowadays things can be produced a lot cheaper and a lot quicker. In the olden days, one used huge lighting equipment called Klieg lights, but nowadays they can be replaced by things you can buy off Amazon or in hardware stores or department stores. In fact, rather than using huge heavy cameras in the studios, one nowadays can use their phone. Before setting anything up, one has to complete what's known in the biz as a rundown sheet. On your rundown sheet, you'll be writing the various segments divided up into time cues. All these time cues must add up to either 28 minutes or 45 minutes, depending on the length of the production. In other words, if it's a 30-minute production, you need to allow for some time for commercials or PSAs, public service announcements. If your production is an hour long, you have to allow for several commercials or public service announcements, if you will, to be inserted into your production, as well as cutaways and editing and voiceovers and various other things like that. All of this is indicated on the rundown sheet, as well parts of the studio where your production will take place, what equipment will be needed, such as ECMs or lavalier mics, etc. For home studio production, first you must set your lighting up. Use the type of lighting that we've indicated here, and have one on the left-hand side of you and the right-hand side of you pointing towards you at 45-degree angles and upward. This is so that the light will be diffused and you won't have bright lights completely on you. Next, set up your camera on its tripod. You may have a rig, such as is indicated here, in which case you need merely mount your camera and you have an extra auxiliary light above the rig. Once this is all set in place, you must do a test. Sit down in your place, start the camera first, and count to 10. Review what you've recorded, and if you like what you see, you're good to go. If you don't like what you see, adjust angles of your camera, moving the camera up and down or higher or lower till you've achieved the desired results. Next, put up your backdrop behind where you're going to sit. If it's a chroma key setup, all you need is your green screen setup. If you already have a set of sorts, all the better. If you have what I've indicated here as blinds, roll them up, set them up behind you, and you're good to go. Lights, camera, action. Now what you can do is also just record right through. If you feel confident to do this, fantastic. If you don't, record in segments. You'll find that this is the easiest way to do, because when you retrieve your clips from your phone later, you'll find they're in order and editing should be no problem. When working in a professional studio or asked to be part of another TV production, make sure that you ask the floor director or someone in charge to give you a 2-minute cue before the end of your segment. This way you can have a signal or time your trick or tricks. Always bring less than what you think you'll need, because more often than not, you'll be asked to perform within a shorter amount of time than you're anticipating. Anticipate about a 5-minute segment or less, such as what you might do on Instagram or TikTok or even YouTube. If you're working for another studio production and you're asked to do magic as a segment in their show, ask them if they want something close-up, stage, or both. If it's stage, you're set to go already, just take a trick or two out of your normal act. They will show you where to set up, and you'll be good to go on cue. If it's close-up, likely you'll be working with the host and the guests. This is the ideal situation, and you need not worry. Just do pocket management, keep some of the tricks that you normally do in your close-up routine in your pockets, exactly where you know where they are and when you want to retrieve them, and you're good to go. Make sure you're aware of the red light above the camera in the professional studios. That will be the camera generally that's on you. One camera will be a close-up camera, the other one will be a wide shot. There may be more than 1, 2, 3, or 4 cameras. Again, just follow the red lights without staring at the monitor. Now, looking at the monitor without Revealing that you're looking at the monitor is a good trick to use. That way you'll be slightly aware of which camera is the close-up camera and which camera is the wide camera. Just do your routine, playing to the host or the guests or both, and try not to concern yourself too much about the cameras or the monitor. In other words, don't feel self-conscious about them. Just do your effects, and when you want to show your home audience a card, just be aware to take a few longer seconds than you normally would if you were working to a live audience. In other words, don't just show the card for like a split second because the camera may not catch it. Try to hold any kind of cards, deck, even coins closer to your face. In other words, rather than working down at a close-up mat or the table that is probably provided to you, try to work up. Try to practice in front of a mirror so that your face is associated with the card or cards or the particular trick that you're using. This will help you, and it won't matter so much if they're using a close-up shot or a wide shot. If you don't feel comfortable working the effect or effects closer up to your face, then just work with what they give you. There'll probably be a coffee table or a small table. Fantastic. Don't even worry about bringing your own close-up stage or a close-up mat. Just try to work with what they give you and try to not use the table so much. Try to mostly work with your hands. In other words, rather than spreading the cards out on the table, spread the cards out between your hands. A good way to work is to have the host or the guests hold their hands out as if to make a tray. In other words, their palms up, and you can have them hold on to the deck of cards if you want, if you feel comfortable with that, for example. As much as you can, employ the host or the guests in your close-up act. Obviously, if it's your own home production or your own studio production, you have all the liberties you can to perform. You can have a setup for stage, you can have a setup for your close-up magic. The sky's the limit. And we'll be opening up the program. And we'll be getting from the file the appropriate video or the appropriate file. So we're just scrolling up to the desktop, and we are looking for the file called Workshop, Zoom Promo, and it loads onto the working surface. Notice the clock while Movie Maker is preparing your files, it says. Take a few more seconds, and it is fully loaded. Now you have to decide where you want to go and what you want to do. What should we do? Maybe, should we play it just to have a look and see? Let's do that. Let's adjust the volume, either loud or low. Video volume will accommodate you that way. We'll take the volume down. And now we are playing the video without audio, just to get a feel for the look and where we may want to clip. Notice I've put type over. Notice the transition. And it zooms in slowly. Another transition to another picture, and it will gradually fade out to black. So, and then we've got that type added in for information. So now we're going to make our own video. We've deleted the old one. We'll add video or pictures. Let's see. Let's choose from the Magic of Television file. We shall scroll down and pick Let's pick this one. So it's the front and back covers of the book, The Magic of Television. And we only want it for so long. Let's go to the video tools and effects, such as zoom in. And we get a bit of a preview there. Let's play it just to see what it looks like. We'll also go to other visual effects, such as fade in from black. So we scroll down to that, clicking it, click add, and now we're good to go. Let's have a look at it. It's 7 seconds long. You'll see in the duration we'll change it to 2 seconds because we're going to have a few other videos. And that's what it looks like. Notice the cursor at the end of the video. We're going to pick another video or picture. We go back to the workshop file, scroll down, and let's pick the book cover. Again, we'll probably pick a transition. Notice as well the length. Go to, say, this transition. It's rather a subtle one, but nonetheless, it will work. So let's have a look from beginning to end. There we go. And we want to add perhaps a zoom in, a slow zoom in to that particular picture. So we're going to try to find it. Let's see. We know that the length of the video was 2 seconds. We'll change the first one to 7. So it's a little bit longer transition. There we go. Transition to the book, which is also 7 seconds, you'll notice. Duration. And we had a nice transition. Let's pick a zoom in. The same zoom in as the first video. And from beginning to end, I always like to preview it. Looks good so far. And good. And now we'll pick one more graphics, I think. So what we'll do, we'll go again to the workshop file, and we will pick perhaps from Zoom lecture. We'll select that one since we want to highlight the video with that one. And the same procedure, a transition, a length, maybe a fade in or fade out. So duration, we'll probably leave it at 7 seconds. A transition, animation transition that is, the same one as the other one. And let's see, how about a zoom in again? So that works. Let's have a look at it from beginning to end. So you see a close-up of front and back, transitioning to just the front cover, transitioning to the graphics promoting the workshop. Now, let's decide what we're going to do at this point. Are we going to add type? Let's do that. You can see we clicked on edit text. Let's type in "it's here." And should we choose a color for the type? Should we choose an action for the type? So we've selected yellow. Let's bring the type up to 36 points. And you just slide the cursor along, center it approximately where you want. Now we'll pick an effect for the type. I think we'll add bold, and let's change the type font maybe to romantique, not bold. That way it's clearer and maybe larger. 48 point. And the name of the font is Rodeo Clown, not romantique. Now we're going to pick an action for the type. looks good. Zoom in text. Boom. Zoom in. Excellent. Now, so you can see the type font superimposed with a nice effect for it. Now let's pick another effect under multiple. We're going to go back to fade out to black. You might remember we used fade into black earlier. Add. Okay, and now it's completed. We just need to add audio to it, or music if you will. Just check on how it looks. You notice it's about 18 seconds long. And that works just fine. Now if we want to add music, we move the cursor to the beginning of the video, assuming we want the music to start there. Add music at the current point. I opened up the music file. I keep some nice audio. And let's pick this one. Now I want to preview it, so we're going to open with Windows Media Player just to listen to it. So the media player opens. We like the sound of that. It sounds good. So we're going to select that particular track, and what I like to do is to clip it. So we go to Music Tools, Fade Out Medium. So the audio is going to fade out in medium time, not too fast, not too slow. And I'm going to move the cursor over, Music Tools, Set Endpoint. And that should work. Now let's adjust the audio. I think we'll keep it medium, not too large. That seems to be working just fine. And there we have it, the completed video. Now we want to save it. So we open up Files, Save Movie for high definition display, because that will simply give the best quality in MPEG formats. And because it's only 18 seconds long, it doesn't take a lot of time to save. There we go. Seems pretty easy. Now, this is the basics to editing video. You see, you're given options. We'll close the box if you want not necessary. And there we go, using a very simple Microsoft program. Let's see how to edit audio using Audacity. So we're going to open up the Audacity program, double click on it, and it opens up in a few seconds into a relatively easy format. And let's play with this a little bit. Let's see how we can work with it. So let's bring an audio file in or record one. I think in this case we can just bring one in, File Open, and this is already a pre-recorded one. Let's go to my external hard drive. We are going to pick a specific file, an audio file. Recording with this program is easy as pie as well. It's not unlike editing with this program as well. So we shall pick Beneath the Moonlight, 4 minutes long. That leaves us plenty of time. And it loads. There you go. That's what it looks like. Now if you were to record, you'd press the upper red button under Effect. But in this case, we're highlighting the file. We're going to amplify it by 7 just to bring it up a little bit louder. There we go. And that should sound good. Anything greater than 7 in this case would be too loud. Less than 7, 2 or 3, not loud enough. Now, let's take about a minute of it away. After a minute, you highlight it. You press the little scissors. And let's fade out. So we highlight the last few seconds. Fade in. No, fade out. And you see it automatically fades out. Let's listen to it. Let's export it. Let's save it, rather. Beneath the Moonlight in desktop. And cropped. That way we'll know this is the shorter version, only a minute long. And let's see, you have choices. I like MP3. We could pick WAV, which is a larger file, but I prefer MP3. It's a smaller file. Save. Now you see the windows open. You just keep clicking OK, and you're good to go. That's how we edit audio. Save changes? No, we just kind of did. And that's how we work with Audacity. I hope you enjoyed this special called The Magic of Television. We took you from basics to a little bit more advanced and using programs such as these. Now remember, you need to crawl before you can walk. You need to walk before you can run. But I believe I've given you the basics so that you can record some really neat videos, either music videos or all kinds of things that you can use on the internet. Don't hesitate to post these things on Facebook. Use titles in your editing and just plain have fun.